Coming up next on News 8 Tonight, what if they gave an election and nobody came?
It might look like the turnout in Multnomah County this evening. Steve Irmo will have a live report from election headquarters.
Barney Clark is buried. The Blazers want the playoffs.
And we'll tell you about the price of gas. News 8 Tonight is next.
Soon after the discovery of pizza, a lot of restaurants did a strange thing. They turned it into a fast food. Fortunately, there's one place that thinks pizza deserves better.
Welcome to Pietro's. May I help you?
Pietro's. Our crust is layered and aged like fine pastry. Our toppings are wholesome and fresh. You see, we know the reason people come to Pietro's is for the pizza.
This is the taste. This is the test. The Pepsi Challenge.
Pepsi.
And the winning taste?
Pepsi.
Oh, what a time. It's gonna be Pepsi now. The winning taste is Pepsi. It's gonna be Pepsi now. Taste what Pepsi's giving. It's gonna be Pepsi now.
Enter the Wendy's Bacon in the Bahamas sweepstakes. Pick up your entry blank on specially priced 8-packs of Pepsi at your Fred Meyer food department.
This is KGW TV, Channel 8, Portland.
Now, your news specialists. Kathy Smith, Bill Lagatuda, Jim Little with weather, and Al Keck with sports. This is News 8 Tonight.
Good evening. It's hard to tell from the turnout, but today was an election day in Oregon.
And tonight, the returns are just beginning to trickle in. Steve Irmo is standing by live with results from Multnomah County, where the voter turnout was dismal. Steve?
Hello. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Bill. There was a light voter turnout today in Multnomah County, about 9.5%. The wet weather and the lack of money issues are probably what kept most voters away from the polls today. Still, we have some very close races. Measure 51, whether city employees hired after January 1st of 1984 must live within city limits, is barely squeaking by right now with 0.1% with a 0.1% lead. About 85% of the votes counted so far. In the race for the Portland School Board positions, there are 4. Right now, Stephen Kafori for position 4 is leading with 27% of the vote. Second up, Ross Day with 20%. In the position number 5, Steve Buell, the incumbent, is trailing with just over 41% of the vote. Bill Panaritos with over 47% of the vote for that position, so he is leading there. For position 6, the incumbent William Scott has a healthy lead right now of 58% over Jack Reynolds with just over 21% of the votes. And in the 7th position, Forrest Riki, with the incumbent, has over 69% of the vote. Second in position, Violet Reck with 30% of the vote. For the Multnomah County Service District, one position, position 6, John Sweeney running unopposed. He has 100% of that vote. Howard Cherry in position 5, leading with 63% of the vote to Ron McCarty's 36%. And for the 7th position, Pat Dooling running a healthy 38% ahead of Jim Ashbaugh with 27% of the vote. In Sophie Island, voters there tonight decided to okay a one-year $30,000 operating levy for their fire department. That also included electing 5 governors for the fire district. We don't have an exact percentage on that yet, but we do know that it passed by a comfortable margin. Well, today's 9.5% vote made a good case for vote by mail. With me tonight, Multnomah County voting supervisor, Bill Radakovich. Bill, how do you think things would have gone tonight if we'd had a vote by mail?
Steve, I believe if we had a vote by mail, we'd have at least a 50% turnout. We proved that last September when the county charter amendment was on the ballot. We had a 55% turnout, and I think we would have the same today. This is a good indication that vote by mail should be used in these special elections.
What do you blame for the low voter turnout today? Do you think it was a combination of the weather?
I think it was a combination of the weather. Nothing that was really that exciting on the ballot. Any money measures that would turn people on, though you had the City of Portland Charter Amendment on there, and some of the hotly contested school board races, but
that's about it.
That's about it.
Okay, Bill, thank you. A strong case for vote by mail in the future.
I think so.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, Bill, Kathy, that's the scene here at the election headquarters right now. As I said, some races close, most by a comfortable margin.
Okay, Steve. Voter turnout was light across the state, where issues range from school board levies to funding for fire districts. In Clackamas County, early returns show a $3 million library levy is passing 2-1, while funding for the Oregon City School District is going down to defeat. In Washington County, where turnout was about 11%, the county's $10 million operating levy is passing by a 5% margin. The operating levy for the city of Hillsborough is too close to call. Bill?
And it looks as though Salem's bus system will keep operating for a while. A critical transit levy there appears to be passing tonight. With about 40% of the vote counted, the transit levy is passing by more than 2,000 votes. A couple of election surprises tonight in a small southern Oregon town of Gold Hill. Now, that town had to elect a mayor and a new city council after a bitter recall left Gold Hill with no city officials. Tonight, the group that led the recall won only one seat, a city council position that went to Del Smith. The mayor's race went to underdog Clifford Thomason, who supported neither controversial faction in town. The other new council members are David Ballou, John Rand, and Lee Strawn.
The law in Oregon permitting Election Day registration may be on the way out soon. Secretary of State Norma Paulus claims the law makes it nearly impossible for county clerks to confirm the residency of last day registrants. As an example, Paulus and her supporters cite last year's election in the town of Antelope, where the town's population swelled from 40 to 100. Paulus wants a 20-day registration cutoff, but so far opponents have limited the Paulus bill to a one-day cutoff. In an historic moment today, Washington's Governor John Spellman signed into law a plan to carve the state into 8 congressional districts. The new U.S. House districts are the first ever to be drawn by a citizen commission instead of Washington state legislators. Spellman today said the plan achieves near-perfect population balance among districts and keeps communities of interest together.
Multnomah County's worst budget fears came true today. County commissioners were told they'll have to fill a $14.6 million hole. The county had budgeted $95.6 million, but after surveying all of its general fund sources, commissioners could only locate a total of $81 million. Today's news means the county will have to take up its most drastic operating cutback options. Kathy?
Thousands of commuters in Tacoma, Washington are going to have some trouble for the next few weeks. That's because a 650-foot ship crashed into the Blair Waterway drawbridge today, and officials say it's going to take a while to repair the damage. Meanwhile, commuters are being detoured away from the bridge. It is a main thoroughfare. Officials are still investigating that accident. By the way, the same ship hit that bridge in 1976. The grand jury is now looking into that alleged illegal bingo operation in southeast Portland. Today, 52-year-old George Ateljevich took the fifth when asked to testify. Judge Charles Crookham overruled him, however, and ordered the former church official to answer grand jury questions. Ateljevich and 2 other men say they are not guilty of the gambling charges. Police say the 3 set up a phony church to front the multi-million-dollar bingo operation.
Police have a Portland man in custody tonight accused of murder. 50-year-old Carl Brandenburg was found shot to death today in his hotel room at the Hamilton Hotel. The bullet came from next door. The man in that room, 52-year-old Kenneth Peterson, is being held on the murder charge. Police say they have a motive, but they are not discussing it.
When News 8 Tonight returns, we'll tell you why the actions of a nun in Michigan have the Vatican concerned.
And Barney Clark is laid to rest in Federal Way, Washington. The story just ahead.
Consider yourself at home.
Ann Landers answers her most asked questions about sex.
Consider yourself part of the family.
Tear out recipe and exercise cards. Our own 12-day weight loss plan.
Family circles every day.
20 beauty problems solved right before your eyes.
Speak through women of every age.
Bouquets of fresh ideas and tips that last forever from Family Circle. Still only 69 cents. Check it out.
Family Circle is for you.
The wine that celebrates food.
The groom's a personal friend, so the meal demanded all my skill as a chef. The food had to be perfect. So did the wine. I chose Inglenook. Some wines just go with food. Inglenook celebrates it.
The spirit of a special day with something special to say.
Here's to years of happy meals.
Inglenook, the wine that celebrates food.
Making movies is like making war. An hour's wait for a minute's action.
Take a break.